So, gentlemen, I
Thank
will introduce everybody. We've got on the show today a couple of filmmakers from a brand new movie just dropped a couple weeks ago, actually. A week ago, not a couple weeks, less than a week ago on the 1st. The new Western action movie, Taken from Rio Bravo. And we've got an Alexander, I'm hoping I'm going to say your name properly, Alexander Nevsky, I believe that is. Hopefully that's right.
Perfect.
And
Perfect.
and Alexander
Yes.
came up with the story of this film. He also acts in it. He's a producer, and probably, I'm suspecting, wore a few other hats as well. In addition to Alexander, we've got director, actor, and also producer, Mr. Joe Cornet. Joe, Alexander,
Hello.
how cool is this?
Thanks
Another
for having
movie.
us. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You guys got the best job in the world.
I think we do. I'm enjoying it. We're having a blast. And for people that watch this movie, I have been touting it as it's outrageously packed with action and fun, and outrageous in a great good sense. It's so much fun, and it crackles along, and the dialogue is great. Kudos to our great screenwriter Craig Hammond, and of course original story by Alexander and Craig. It really moves. This thing moves, and it's big. I shot it in a really wide scope of screen, and I think people will really enjoy this one. So far, I've heard wonderful things about it from people, so I'm really
And,
pleased with our reaction.
and Jamie, I was the first one who was pleased, actually, and I was pleased all the way. I was pleased when we were doing pre-production with Joe together. I was pleased when we were making this movie in Arizona, very close to Tucson, Arizona. See, I'm promoting Tucson over here. It's amazing. It's an amazing place in Arizona, very close to Tombstone, original Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very pleased when I watched the very first cut of the movie. And of course, I was very pleased on August 1st when it was released on NBCUniversal's Xumo Play. And we have upcoming release on all the digital and DVD and all of that. But as I told you before we started our show, as an actor and a producer, you really depend on your director. You really depend on his vision. You really depend on his attitude. If you understand what I'm saying, before you start the movie, do you in the process of making the movie? And I work with a lot of people and with a lot of great people. My very first film was with Walter Hill, a great Walter Hill, Undisputed. That was my very first movie. And I worked with Bartkowiak, who made a lot of great films as a director of photography. He was like a favorite director of photography of Sidney Lumet. And he made a lot of films with Joel Silver, who produced his movies later, like Romeo Must Die and Doom with Dwayne Johnson and Cradle to the Grave. I had some experience with directors. And let me tell you about Joe. And he's my friend. But it's very easy for me to be objective, not subjective, because now I'm talking to you as a producer and actor who has a big experience. I made my first movie in 2000. So Joe has it all. And probably because he's also an actor, he's a great actor, and he's also a great producer. So he has it all together. But his director's talent and his love to spaghetti westerns, to like original spaghetti westerns, that's, I think, another key to the success of the film. Because, and I think Joe is my witness over here. People who maybe just action films is not their cup of tea, but they love original spaghetti westerns. They will enjoy Taken from Rio Bravo too. They will, because it's like a love letter. I'm correct, Joe.
Thank you for those kind words, and anyway, thank you very much. But yes, I think that the key to understanding these films that we are making here in this particular franchise is when we did the first one, and once I wrapped my brain around, oh my God, we're doing all these genres, action, western, spaghetti western, all of these things, all wrapped into one. Things like this have been done in other genres. I'm not sure it's been done in the Western genre to the degree that we're doing it. And I think it's so much fun because when you get to work with not only Alexander, but you get to work with just iconic guys like Don the Dragon Wilson, wonderful people like Cynthia Rothrock. These are people I admired for years. And here are these great action stars doing their thing on your set. You know, what they're known for. Am I right, Alex? I mean, think of Cynthia in this film. In a
Exactly.
Western.
No, you're absolutely
And
right.
it must have pleased her
Yes.
because I think she, right on the heels of us doing that, she went off and did another Western, as I recall, didn't she?
We inspired
We
her.
inspired.
Yes, we inspired her to make a
Yeah.
Western.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's
Nice.
what makes it fun and what makes it different, is these different genre mashups.
You know what really
And Jamie,
struck
I know you have another question, but
Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
sorry
Go
I
ahead.
interrupted you. We have a little different in sound because you're in Florida, I'm in Beverly Hills, Joe in Pasadena. So basically, we have almost international show over here, especially because of my
Well,
accent. But what I want to say to your audience that the first film, original film, Gunfight at Rio Bravo, is a Prime Video movie, and your audience can watch it on Prime
Yep.
Video subscription before they watch Taken on Xumo Play. So it's also out and it's very popular. Yeah, please.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, this is a sequel, but folks, I don't want you to get turned off if you haven't seen the original of this, because really, I watched this. I'll be in all honesty, I still have the last 15 minutes of the movie to go, so no spoilers for me, please. No spoil. But we don't
Okay.
want to spoil it for the audience anyway. But I watched this with a friend of mine, and he had never seen the original, and he had no problem following along. No problem at all.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
my
great to hear.
neighbor.
I think we wanted to do them as standalones. If people wanted to view them separately, you didn't need to be set up from the first one to enjoy the second one. And I think the second one does, in fact, stand alone. But I'd love for
great thing
everybody to
is
see the first
the great thing is you can, once you get hooked, and as someone who has watched the original, already hooked. I was already hooked. I knew, and I wanted more of that world. Take me back into that world, and you guys delivered that. You guys
one. Thanks.
totally delivered that. And I had
Thank you.
read on IMDb, I think it was IMDb or somewhere, I'd read somewhere that this was principally shot in Arizona, like Alexander
That's
was
correct.
saying. I got to tell you, if I didn't know that and I was watching this, I would have thought, where are they? Out in dusty Spain somewhere or something? Because this looks, and I can't even imagine. Number one, I'm not in the movie business, I'm just a fan. But when I try to think about the process of making a movie, my mind boggles, let alone a period movie, a period piece. And folks, think about that. You can't have any chemtrails in the sky. You have to create this environment because it just, the one little thing could set it up. Oh, there's some power lines, or oh, I hear a truck driving by, or whatever. Somebody's phone went off, or whatever. None of that in this. It's totally like you're there. And
Thank you.
get a glass of water, soda, or something because you're going to get thirsty because it's dusty. It's the West. It's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing.
It is.
You guys brought it.
Thank
Enjoy.
you. We tried
Enjoy. Yeah, please.
very hard to give it that look, that authentic look, and it is a very laborious process to wait for the jet aircraft to pass over, for the truck driving by, for whatever. But you do it, and you wait for that right moment, and you get it. And we were fortunate because this particular town that we were shooting in, which is a dedicated Western movie town that was built back in the 1960s, and it's called Gammon's Gulch, and it's south of Tucson. It's actually near a place called Benson, Arizona, a fun little town. And we were lucky because the town is located well away from most civilization, so you don't get a lot of the disturbances that I have gotten in previous films where I'm doing a remote location, and there's all kinds of modern things happening. But we're lucky in this sense. We filmed 2 movies.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I said, it looks great,
And if you
and it's
allow
got to
me,
be
I
kind of
have to,
cool.
and if you
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
exactly. I
RJ.
just have to, yeah, I have to mention a couple of other people who we should thank because when you start to say about all these disturbances and that, we have to mention our editor, great Cody Miller. He was an editor on the first movie and he on first on Gunfight at Rio Bravo, and he's an editor on Taken from Rio Bravo. We should mention our great director of photography, Sam Wilkerson,
Please.
and he worked with Joe before these movies, and he did a great job on Joe's previous movie, Promise, which he made before Gunfight at Rio Bravo, and he did great job on our movies. And Elliot Gurin, Elliot was doing all the special effects, and his team, they did sound and special effects and all that. And of course, our composer, Sean Murray, Emmy-nominated composer Sean Murray. I'm sure even you didn't finish movie yet, but you already heard his music, and his music is amazing.
It is. The main title theme is out of this world. It's one of the best I've ever heard that he's ever composed, in my opinion.
It's fantastic. And I was talking to Joe before we started the show briefly, and I am also super impressed. I had never been on the Xumo, I think I'm saying it right, Xumo website before, where you can watch this film, and you don't have to put any dollars in a coffee can, pop your own popcorn, because I think it's free, isn't it? It doesn't cost any. It didn't cost me anything, I don't think.
No,
But
it will not cost you anything, and that's a new thing. And I'm sure you know what Tubi is. Tubi, right? That's another big website which Tubi, and I think Tubi started this particular business actually when 20th Century, at the time 20th Century Fox, now it's just 20th Century Fox, but Tubi and pushed Tubi basically as a free competitor to Netflix, to Prime Video, free with ads. And that's why Universal bought Xumo Play, and now NBCUniversal owns it, and now Xumo Play is like a main competitor to Tubi.
Right.
And when they approached us with an idea to make it like an original movie, Xumo original movie, for Joe and for me, it was no-brainer because they have about 30 million people who watch them on a regular basis. So even before we will make it available on Prime Video on demand, on digital and on DVD and everything, we make it available for free for this amount of people. And as Joe said, reviews we're getting is all good. I don't mind some people criticizing stuff, but I don't have it at all. Everyone loves it. My problem only is they love Joe more than me. Even my own mother, when she watched it, she said, Joe is so handsome. Look at him. I said, Mom,
He's the sheriff.
it's wrong. Probably it's my beard. Exactly. I should have full beard or something. Yes.
Oh, you did get a little hot under the collar when they interrupted your newspaper reading.
Oh, yes, he did.
I'm like, is there anybody
Yeah.
left in the town that he hasn't shot? I was
They're all
impressed
bad
to talk
guys.
about an action sequence.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
they were all bad guys. And by the way, we should mention one more person, Art Camacho,
Absolutely.
fight choreographer Art Camacho. He's a legend in the industry. He worked with us on the first movie on Gunfight at Rio Bravo. He worked with us on Taken from Rio Bravo. He even had a cameo. If you remember, bad guy, Mexican bad guy, Comanchero, who attacked me with a knife. That's Art Camacho, who was making Hollywood movies since 90s. And he's just an amazing guy. And I think his vision of action, Joe, and you, my witness over here, helped you a little bit just to basically combine the genres more, combine Western and action together. But again, all team worked great. All the team.
You're absolutely right.
Well, the pacing was fantastic. It moves, like you said, it moves like an action movie. And I have no criticism. I'm a big Western fan. I could sit between me and you guys when the wife goes out of town. I'm going out of town for the weekend to go visit my girlfriends or whatever. I'm like, yeah, okay, have fun. No problem, dear. That's great. because I know it's going to be me watching westerns and movies about war and stuff all week. I'm not going to have to sit through any Love Islands or anything like that. You know what I mean? Any of that kind of stuff.
Love Islands.
But
yeah.
I love westerns. I love them. But to be honest, some westerns will drag a little bit before the action's spaced out. You got to earn that action. Not with Taken from Rio Bravo. That action comes quick. There's no lag in it. And I thought that was, I'm a fan of that. I liked it. I hope that becomes a trend in all the movies because it clicks right along. And I think that's a good thing.
Thank you. We tried to keep the pace up. And again, thanks to Craig Hammond, who wrote the script, because the script, it was all in there. And the pace, it was all in there. And we stuck to that. We helped it along. And of course, the editing process, we were able to nip and tuck certain things that just have it go boom. So it was relentless, which is what both Alex and I wanted. We wanted it just in your face. That's why I keep calling it outrageously fun, because it is. It's a wild movie. It may be one of the wildest I've ever directed. Because I started off directing. Yeah, I started off directing more traditional fare with westerns specifically, that more were in the mold of the kind of thing you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But when we got into this, it was like a whole new world for me. It was great, and I
think it fits the modern era.
Sure.
I'm an old man. I don't have a TikTok account, but apparently everybody now is very quick. They like quick stuff.
Attention spans are shorter.
Yeah. No, I'm not going. This was a fantastic film. Let me ask you guys. No, Alexander, you guys had done the original movie, and then you came up with the story for this. So do you call up Craig, or everybody goes to lunch somewhere, or do you call Joe? How does that process happen to get from an idea to where we are now? It's out. People can watch this. You can click on the TV, Alexander, and see you looking out at you. That's pretty cool.
It is. And maybe I will start, and Joe will tell you his view on that. But you're absolutely right, Jamie, when you said that movie business in general is a miracle. And just to imagine all this process, all this huge puzzle, which you have to go through before you look at yourself on TV or on a movie screen or whatever. It's unbelievably hard in one hand. It's absolutely fun. And Joe is right. It's absolutely fun on the other hand. But just imagine, yes, you have to come up with a story. After that, you have to have a good script. After that, you have to make sure that you have enough money. And not just for pre-production or post-production, you also need your money to get yourself nice international distribution and promote movie worldwide. And Gunfight, the first film we made together with Joe, Gunfight at Rio Bravo, was released in 32 countries. Somewhere in theaters, somewhere on platforms, somewhere on DVDs, but in 32 countries. And if you go, it's funny. And Joe knows, I even send him sometimes trailer of the movie with all of us talking in German language because they dub us in German or in French or some article from a newspaper from Spain and then something like that. But just to be able to do all of that, it's another puzzle. And again, you also have to create it. You have to direct it. You have to act in it. You have to make sure that everyone is happy on set. You have to make sure that you have enough professionals to make it authentic and correct. Exactly what you said, Jamie, before. And I think Joe has a great talent and great eye for westerns and also great talent for action. And that's why me, as an actor and as a producer, got lucky. He is my friend and we always have fun together. But I'm talking about business right now. Because me and Joe, we have an ability to green light the movie, but also we have an ability to make a movie which people like. And I'll let him talk in a second. But you, Jamie, you're absolutely correct. And actually, we both, me and Joe and other independent filmmakers, lucky because you Jamie, not just watch westerns. You talk about westerns. You support us. You support independent filmmakers. You support these kind of movies, independent movies. And I think especially now, in these strange times we're living, with so much of the negativity around us, right? Just to give people real heroes, real action, real happy endings, and great movies and positivity. That's the most important thing. Am I right, Joe?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what we're. I just to reiterate, that is what we're about here, and that's the kind of films we make. Granted, we just had a horror film come out last summer, which was pretty dark and pretty creepy, but it was very different. It was not the typical horror bill of fare that you would normally see. I think this film said a lot more and talked a lot about a lot of things that horror films don't usually deal with. So giving the audience something else to think about. And of course, as Alex just said, in this very strange and all these to what was it that Donald Sutherland used to say in Kelly's Heroes? Don't come at me with them negative waves, baby. Great character.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there are a lot of negative waves. And hopefully, like a movie like this, especially, you go to it and you watch it and you have a fantastic time. It's like a roller coaster, and the ending is pleasing. It's not a downer. The heroes are good heroes. The villains are really bad. And there's one that we have in this, by the way, who is, we've had bad guys before, and I had plenty of bad guys in my previous Westerns. But there's one guy in here, and I don't know if you've gotten to him yet, but there's one guy who is particularly nasty. And I
Don't
won't,
spoil it. Don't spoil it for Jamie. Don't spoil it for Jamie, Joe. Don't spoil it, please.
you'll know when you get to him, and you will root for this guy's
Yeah.
demise.
But see, that's the
Yes.
best when you have a villain and you're like, oh, I know the comeuppance is coming, and I can't wait. Couldn't happen
Yeah,
to a better guy. And I think that's a
absolutely.
universal thing. And one of the things that is great about Westerns, I view Westerns almost in the same category as fighting dragons. It's fantasy. It takes you out of um, the world, the news, politics, all that,
Oh yeah,
everything that we all have going on. And because we need a break. I think society needs a little bit of a break. And
it's
one of the
escapism.
great things about independent film is I learned during the pandemic, I quickly ran out of, and my life hadn't changed that much. I worked from home. Staying at home was kind of like a Tuesday for me. But I quickly ran out of big Hollywood studio movies and productions and stuff to watch. And so have all these streaming channels and that we pay for, unlike Xumo and Tubi, which brilliant. Somebody needs a cup of coffee at those places because that's a great idea. Um, I searched out the independent film, so I'm like, let me check some of these out and then I find myself because I had we were just doing the audio podcast, and I'm emailing people, trying to track people down, which isn't always it's easier now with social media, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the easiest thing to do. And then even say, you got this little podcast, you guys want to be on it? But a lot of people did, and a lot of people do. Um, Independent film rocks, I think, saved us during the pandemic and continues to save us now because it's not the same tired thing that you can set your watch to that you've seen over and over. Um, and you guys are real fresh with everything. I dig that,
Thank
you
you.
know. Uh,
Thank
it's
you.
amazing. It's amazing. So let me ask you real quick, Alexander, when you were a little boy, did you know that movie star, man about Hollywood, that was going to be your future? Was that the plan?
No, plan was a little different because when I was a little boy, I lived in Moscow in USSR,
Okay.
and Hollywood movies, 99% of them were illegal in USSR. Of
Ah,
course, couple of movies like probably like Salvador, Oliver Stone's anti whatever movie was there, but didn't release Hollywood movies in theaters. They didn't. So when I started to watch them, it was already 90s. I was still a kid, but like 17, 18, 19 years old. But we started to get them on pirated video. And on pirated video, on one cassette, they could have two movies,
Okay.
not one. Of course, I was buying all these pirated videos, and it's funny because they released these movies. I mean, pirates. They released, for example, on one cassette, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger's studio movie, and Don the Dragon Wilson, Roger Corman's movie. And I watched them together, one after another, and I didn't see the difference because I was a huge fan of Arnold, and I still is. I'm a huge fan of Don Dragon Wilson, and still is. And I think that's why, much later, when I started to make movies myself, my idea always was to make the product which push people into positivity to the point, right? To what we were just saying, to the positivity, to those, to let them to escape like a real world, and at least for a couple of hours, and just feel good about themselves, and just create some adventures in their imaginations. So much later, when I moved into the United States and started to make movies myself and everything, and let me proudly say that now I'm a citizen of the United States of America. I'm a citizen. I became a citizen 5 years ago. And I really think that this is the best country on earth. And that's again why we all, as Americans, and doesn't matter if they're Democrats or Republicans or independents or whatever, or actors or producers or whatever, or doctors, whatever, we should remember that we're all Americans and we're all here to make this country much better, to make people life of people around us better. And that's what we're doing with Joe, with our movies. That's what he was doing before he met me. That's what I was trying to do before I met him. But when we met and started to do these films, that's our main target. Yes, we're having fun. Yes, we're trying to make sure that they're all successful financially and whatever. But also, we're trying to push people into positivity. I think I'm correct, Joe, right?
Uh, how can I follow that? Yeah, he's right.
Well, Joe, did you know that movie director, you'd have one of those folding chairs with your name on the back of it and all that? Did you know that? Was that the plan?
Oddly enough, to this day, I still don't have one of those chairs. But because I always stand when I'm directing. But
Oh, okay. I got you.
no, you know what? I don't know that I knew it back then. I had an idea of what I wanted to do when I was very young, and there were certain films that I either saw in the theater or I saw on network television in those days, and they were films that inspired me. I won't get into the list unless you ask me, but I thought I had something of an inkling that I wanted to do this. And then, as life often does, my path took a completely different turn for a couple of decades. And I got into this comparatively late, and for most people. And I've been very lucky because I've been doing the kinds of films that I want to do, which for the most part are films that enhance the positivity and are good stories that people can come out of the theater and go, oh my God, that was such a great story. That doesn't mean I don't like bleak and depressing movies. Sure, I'll watch The Bicycle Thief or something like that,
Yeah.
and still love it to this
I
day.
hear you.
But I love kind of positivity that Alexander was just talking about, because I think we're lacking so much. And you either have like these big, humongous, corporately made major productions, which are all good in their way, but you don't have a lot of story oriented things, and you've been devoid of that, for the audience has, for a long time. And I think these are fun stories, particularly this latest one. We're working on one right now, which I won't talk about, but it's very fun and very different. And I think that's important. And as I say, for the people to come out saying, wow, that was a great time. and I want to
Yeah.
see it again. And I don't think I had this
Absolutely.
inkling until much later. My story is a long and convoluted one. I'd be happy to come on a different show and tell you.
Well, I
Takes too
remember
long.
some of it. Folks, let me just say, he knows all about contracts and people. And what you guys were just saying reminds me, a couple years ago, we were all surprised, and I'm not trying to get on a political soapbox or anything, but something happened politically, and I was at a dinner party that me and my wife didn't expect, I should say. And so about a week later, I was at a cocktail party, actually. And a woman I didn't know, just been talking to briefly, she said, wow. She goes, because everybody was talking about this political event. She said, your life just got a lot more difficult. And I said, what are you talking about? I push paint around. And she goes, yeah, you're an artist. Your job is to either make comment or distract the viewer from all of that. Have fun. But I never looked at it that way. And I was like, oh, man, I got to work hard now. Like phony baloney jobs happening. But no, it's exactly right. And you guys deliver this. Every movie you guys do is the few that I've seen, are really good. Really good. And
Thank you, Jim.
I particularly,
Thank you.
between you and me, and I don't mean to offend anybody or anything, but I like these Westerns. I think you guys got the Westerns down, man. You teach a course on how to do these. These are great. And I'm talking, and everything just works. The wardrobe, that is the coolest. Alexander, that black leather jacket or whatever you wearing through that. My inner 20-year-old has wanted that. Build a time machine, get that, send it back to me. That is the coolest. I don't think there'd be a girl at the party you wouldn't talk to if you were wearing that. That was pretty awesome. Everything though in the
Let me tell you just two words about that jacket. And let me give a compliment for being open-minded to Mr. Joe Cornet right here. Because we had a great costume designer, Renee, on both Rio Bravo movies. And she's amazing. She did all the wardrobe and everything. And she had some idea of my character's wardrobe. But I also had an idea. And I thought that I'm talking about gunfight at Rio Bravo. First time when I was wearing this jacket, leather jacket, I had that idea about Terminator at the Wild West. Terminator,
right.
who basically terminate the bad guys and will give people that fun moment. And I spoke to Joe, and Joe, he's really serious. He's always fun and always positive, but he's very serious when we talk about the details. He wants his movies to be really authentic. It's correct, right? In English, authentic, really showing those times. And I knew that. And we had a conversation, and he supported me. He supported the idea. He was open-minded on that, and together we were able to talk to great Renee. And she, in the end of the day, she even helped us to tailor that jacket so it was more, not that huge, but more for my figure. But that was fun. That was basically our homage to Terminator, little homage to
Nice.
Terminator, original Terminator.
And that's good. And at least she went with the jacket. She didn't have you showing up to the Wild West. Arnold at the observatory there. That must have been a brie night for him, is
Exactly.
all I'm saying. Oh, man.
There actually were jackets, leather tunics like that were made during the American Civil War. I found
really?
evidence of it. Yeah.
Nice. Well, it looks great. It looks tough. I hope it wasn't too hot. Well, when did you guys film this? Because Arizona is one of those places that can go insanely hot, or then I've been there when it's been cold. Same with Vegas. People were surprised to know that. Yeah, Vegas. Go in December. You'll be surprised how nippy Vegas can be. But Arizona is just like that. Was this filmed in the off season, in the winter, or was this filmed in the summer?
When did we film this? What? I can't remember.
We filmed this, I think, in June. The second one
June.
in June, and
So
it
it was
was
a
super
little.
hot. It was super hot, especially in those leather jackets.
Yeah.
But I also understand what you're saying when you're saying about being cold, because when we opened the first movie, we had a world premiere in Tucson, and it was our way, Joe's and mine way, to show our appreciation to the people of Arizona because they all supported the movie, and people from TV and people from the crew and craft and everything. So we opened it in January 2023. We had a big premiere in Tucson, in the biggest screen of Tucson, and it was cold, Joe. It was cold those nights in January.
Man,
Yes.
amazing. Amazing. How cool. I bet they got a kick out of that. That's pretty cool.
Of course, of
You
course.
know, and when you guys go to a set like that, are there Airbnbs? Does everybody bring a tent or a camper or RV or something? Because I imagine you're out there for a minute, more than a week, I would imagine. Where does everybody stay?
Oh yeah,
Or do you stay in the town?
Joe, please.
In this particular case, the cast and crew, were all staying in the town of Benson, which is about
Okay.
10 miles from this location. And we were all in various hotels. I think we basically took
Okay, so
over
they
every
have
hotel in town. We stayed there.
Yes.
And of course, there's two
okay.
restaurants in town, and we descended upon them. And I'd like to point out there's only one that has a bar. Okay.
Oh, man.
So I'd be at that one every night. But
I gotcha.
it's interesting going to these remote locations. I've done it many times before, and it is fun because you get to go to these smaller communities and get to know people and see a different side of things, which I really enjoy. I do enjoy getting away from the big city a lot, and I do it frequently. In this case, everybody stayed in town. We had a few other facilities available to us if we wanted, but you know, that's the way that works.
I gotcha. That's
And
cool.
most
That
importantly,
is
they
cool.
had a
I
gym.
imagine they.
They had a good gym. Yeah,
Oh,
they had yes, they had a gym. So that's I was happy with the hotel completely. Yeah, please go on.
no, Alexander, I'm so glad you mentioned that because you work out. You've got a history of, you've done the bodybuilding and whatnot. Do you, to this day, I imagine you maintain, you're working out 4 or 5 times a week, or
Look at that. Look
that's a
at
lot.
that. Right here. Of, of, of course. Come on. Of course I do. I love it. And that's exactly why I think I made it into the movies because I had a great idol, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I had that idea first about being big like him, second about getting into the action is like him, and I think it's important for your audience to understand that they also can achieve their dreams. And it doesn't matter if it's in bodybuilding or if it's even in movie business. They can look at Joe, they can look at me, and they can understand that if they work hard, they can make their own movies. They can live their own dreams. It's all possible. And to be honest with you, even if you don't want to go into the Mr. Universe or make bodybuilding your career, still, even if you work out 3, 4 times a week, you will be stronger. You will feel better. You will feel more positive. And of course, your biceps will attract more audience and all that. And by the way, Joe is a bodybuilder himself. How often do you train, Joe, per week? 3 or 4, right?
Say again, I faded there.
How many workouts you usually have per week, Joe? 3 or 4, right?
Yeah, four, maybe five, and I hike all the time. I also
Five.
I also
Five
ride
workouts a week.
horses. So
That's amazing.
Fitness is
That is amazing.
important, Jamie. Fitness is super important. Yes. Mhm. Go on.
it's
Absolutely.
important that if I don't do it, and I know Alex is the same way, if I don't do it, like right now, I have a personal trainer I work with and have worked with for many years. And she's out of town for 2 weeks and she doesn't come back until Monday. And if I'm away from it, and I have stuff I do here and whatnot, but I miss it because it gets your brain going in the right way. And when you talk about getting rid of the negative energy and all the negative stuff, there's nothing better than a barbell. Believe me. Am I right? Nothing.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. I read somewhere that habits, both good and bad, take about a couple weeks, 15 days or so, to develop. If you do something consistently for a couple weeks, it develops into a habit, and then you're used to doing it. My wife gives me a hard time. I'm that way with my work. I have a routine. I spend X amount of hours doing whatever, and then every day. And if we go on vacation or something and that routine's broke, I get grouchy. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I need to be doing this during this time. Not going to Disney World. I need to be, but at the same time, you got to keep that wife happy. You got to keep her happy. And if she wants to walk around Disney World, then that's what we're doing. Plus, Tomorrowland ain't that bad. It ain't as cool as, what was it called again? Gulch? Where you guys filmed
Gold's
this?
Gym. Gold's Gym. Galman's Gulch. Galman's Gulch. Galman's Gulch.
Nice. Very cool. And people are watching this. Everybody, you can watch this. Watch it tonight. Watch it tomorrow. I'm going to tell you, if you watch it tonight, you're going to want to rewatch it tomorrow. I'm going to finish it. What happened, guys, is I got my days messed up. I thought we were doing this talk tomorrow, and I said, I got a whole day to do that. I'm going to watch that. And then this morning, I'm like, I got to watch this movie. It's one of those, I will tell you this, it's not one of those movies you can watch or have on and do something else. You want to watch it. It draws you in. You're not going to get anything else done when you're watching this. And I think that's good art to me. There's that.
I forgot to tell you. Jamie. I forgot to tell you. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that Xumo Play also, right now, they also have the first movie, Gunfight at Rio Bravo, is also available on Xumo Play for free. As soon as you finish Taken, now you have to just find Gunfight over there and watch Gunfight, which was basically the one we made before. Now you have to watch both of them.
Absolutely. And I know it's doing well because when I went to Zuma, it was like right up at the top there. And I'm thinking, I don't know. You know what, folks? I'm talking out of my backside. But it seems to me that the stuff that's popular on any of these streaming channels is the one you see first. And I saw your guys' movie right there at the front, or the top. Yeah.
We should thank Xumo Play because they promoting movie hard. We should thank Xumo Play because they promoting movie hard. And yes, it's very easy to find on a platform, and they're doing a great job. We're very happy with them.
And Joe, I'm gonna let it pass, but it's killing me. You mentioned you guys are working on the next one, and I want to know because I want to see it. But I'll wait. I'll be patient.
I promise you, it's unlike anything you have ever seen before.
That's also a Western. It's a Western. It's also a Western.
It is a Western, but it's a Western that you never would have imagined. And it's quite a concept, and it's quite a story, and it's based on a true story.
Amazing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Wow! Now I'm.
Well, watch for that one, and don't forget our horror movie, Night of the Caregiver. That's out there, and
which is also on Xumo Play. It's also on Xumo Play. Night of the Caregiver is on Xumo Play. It's also there. Yes.
Very cool. I remember.
Jamie, thank you very much again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And folks, we're going to end the show with the trailer. And here it is.
This here's a robbery. Just be still.
Our gang is outside. Be nice.
Put it in the bag.
So are we gonna hear wedding bells soon?
Well, Vernon and I have talked about it.
Where's Jenny and Valerie?
Nowhere to be found, Sheriff.
The men you look for are probably the Watuka posse. They are the most ruthless among all the skin slavers in the territory.
You watch yourselves. Watuka is a soulless devil.
They take women, even children, sell them to the compradores.
You know, if it stop them.
Good fortune, gentlemen.
Just the two of us against a posse.
Exactly.
Die.
What is your name, sir?
John Basil Turchin.
This has been pop art painter Jamie Roxx's Pop Roxx Radio Talk Show. It has been executive produced by Jamie Roxx, recorded at his studio in Deerfield Beach in South Florida. All rights reserved by Pop Roxx Limited.
Hannah Oli, Pop Roxx Radio. Estás escuchando Jamie Roxx de Pop Roxx Radio. Manténganse al tanto.
Hej, det här är Hicks från Sverige och ni lyssnar till Pop Roxx Radio med Jamie Roxx.